This region, partly mystical and mysterious, owes its image to the wilderness of the austere Carpathian Mountains. These mountains, covered by the dense beech and spruce forests, picturesque valleys shrouded in mist, cut across by the threads of little streams or the ribbons of dangerous mountain rivers, and the characteristic vast expanse of mountain pastures inspire the imagination of a land cut off from the outside world. This region is Huculszczyzna, an idyllic land, at least that's how it was represented in word and on canvas, considered by ethnographers and travelers and artists as a magical land. Stanisław Vincent, a Polish writer, was absolutely infatuated with the Hutsul life. The stories, the traditions, the legends, the art, the culture, the beauty and variety resulting from the multi-ethnical background of this terrain. Kazimierz Sikulski, an artist, was mesmerized by the terrain and the people. Look at this painting. It is titled Mysterium. The first thing that you see and strikes you hard is the image of Christ with hands stretched out. But the next thing that you notice are the women who are holding pitchers up towards the wounds. And those pitchers are the typical Hucar ceramics. Pottery made for everyday home use was simply decorated. Chickens. Here you have two gentlemen having a good time, obviously, one with a bottle, the other with a violin, and here we have some birds. Very simple. In the mid-1900s, when Huculszczyzna was all of a sudden discovered, tourism grew, and so did the demand for pottery, especially tiles. Now, the choice of color was only green and yellow. In 1875, a pottery school was founded in Kołomija, and it was to improve the skills, the artistic skills of the craftsmen, and to increase sales, to give it a polish, to make it more desirable, such as these pictures. The Hutsul people could not survive without their horses. The Hutsul pony is a separate breed, a horse that is smaller, has more of a straight back, smaller hoofs, and is very enduring. Only a packed animal would be able to carry heavy objects up into the mountains, into the remote places where people lived, where they grazed their sheep. The Hutsul pony, well, was very special in a way. It took upon certain human characteristics, such as maliciousness and remembering old grudges, almost like an elephant. From Kazimierz the Great, my favorite king, who ruled from 1333 to 1370, Poland inherited the whole of Pokucie and the Hutsul region. For the next 4 centuries, until 1772, the first partition of Poland, it was part of the Polish Commonwealth. It returned on the map as part of Poland during the period between the wars, World War I and World War II. Presently, that area is part of Ukraine and of Romania. Let's look at that painting again. Sikulski, in his own style, gives a good representation of the Hutsul wardrobe. The men are in brown-colored sheepskin coats, the women and children in keptar, which is a sleeveless sheepskin vest, and you have detail of embroidery on the women's blouses. Very pretty. This region of the Carpathian Mountains lies on the trade path as well as on a war path. Throughout history, many peoples crossed this terrain. You had the Hungarians, the Bulgarians, the Tatars hordes coming in from the Far East, and you had the Ottoman Turks. All of these people left a mark, some kind of influence that can be seen in their art and in their culture. The Hutsul people are of the Eastern Orthodox Church. We have here 2 wooden handheld crosses. As you can see, that one is quite old. You have 1833 marked at the bottom. And this smaller cross on the bottom here has a circular design, a rosetta, which is oftentimes seen in many artifacts, jewelry, and other items. When you look at these items here, the plates, the carafe, these little small things, you can see the Islamic influence. Islam did not allow the representation of humans or animals in their art. So here you have many circles, diagonal lines, crisscross lines, and you see beads, different colored beads. And that is a Romanian influence. The Hutsul people mainly grazed sheep. That was their main form of income. But they also did quite a bit of fishing and hunting. And here you have examples, wonderful examples of gun pouches. They're made out of bone. And here you see that same round motif on many of these items. A repetition. They're beautifully made, very ornate. Same thing with the belts. And so here we have a pipe, quite small, but I suppose if it's good tobacco, you don't need a larger pipe. The interesting thing is that smoking a pipe was not uncommon among Hutsul women. What you see is a leather belt, a very wide belt, and I would call it a Highlander belt. We in Poland, our Highlanders, górale, wear similar belts, but this is quite old and quite unique. You have, under the studs, you have red felt, and you have embroidery, which is very, very rare. Next to it, you have a belt, a very decorative belt, and here you see the Romanian influence. It is beaded. The entire belt is beaded. Those little animals, those flowers, everything is beaded, very colorful. In fact, sometimes the woman would wear very colorful strings of beads. And of course, the belt on the right is also a leather belt, a Highlander's belt. The metal of choice in jewelry was copper. Copper buckles, and again you see the repetition of the circle of the rosettas, whether it is a buckle or a ring or a chain of jewelry. Also, coral was very popular, whether it were beads or cufflinks or rings, and of course beads. As before mentioned, this is the Romanian influence. Of these 2 belts, very pretty, we are not sure of their origin. They have always been part of this exhibit, but whether or not they are Hutsul, we cannot say for sure. All that you have seen so far, the ceramics, the belts, the jewelry, the painting, all that was from the Polish pavilion of the 1939 World's Fair. And the Polish Museum of America is very happy to have these items in their collection. I forgot. There's one more thing I must show you. Pisanki, Easter eggs. And here you see also the geometric designs, a limitation of colors, browns, yellows. Here and there you may have a green color. This is so very typical of Slavic people. Our Polish pisanki are quite different, very colorful. Here you have a similarity to that of the Romanian and Ukrainian pisanki. I'd like to leave you with these words. The hot summer sun makes the mountain country the goal of a solitary escape for urban people who need perfectly clean air infused with invigorating resin, life-giving, healing spring waters, and silence, soothing the body and the soul. So, is it our vacation destination for next year? I hope so. I thank you very much for the visit here at the Polish Museum of America.